Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm gonna be showing you a one-of-a-kind pool table you've never seen. All right, so I want to go over some of the details in this pool table and just talk about how beautiful this is. This is probably the prettiest table. It's not probably, it is the prettiest table I have ever seen in my life. Growing up in this industry, it was always famously about the Brunswick Monarch, right? We've heard about those forever. This is the prototype before that. So the history of this table is kind of unique. There were only a few of these ever made, according to what I've read and what I've studied and what all we know about these tables. This is what's called the Brunswick Cat's Paw, the Monarch Cat's Paw table. Brunswick obviously wasn't just called Brunswick back then, it was JM Brunswick and Balke Company. So you can see that in the marquetry work. So we're gonna kind of go into some of the finer details on the table. So underneath the center pocket, we don't have any of the pockets attached. As you can imagine with an old table like this, there's kind of liability to assembling it. So the JM Brunswick and Balke Company, all of this is marquetry, all hand inlaid. I mean, it is in immaculate condition. It's beautiful. One of the most unique things about this table that I just fell in love with are obviously the legs. This is what everybody knows of as the Brunswick Monarch had the lion's head, right? This is called the cat's paw because it's obviously like the feet of the lion. So it's super beautiful, super cool. So if you check this out, you can just see the age of the table, the cracks in the wood. All of this is put together with dowels, cast iron pawl for the feet. They're slotted. The only bolts in these legs come right here. So there's one per leg, comes all the way through and connects all of this together. It is so cool just to see the old history and what was made back in the day. So this is like circa 1860s. We're talking Civil War era times. So you can imagine who had the money to buy this and who could afford it. And then who had the ability to make it in wartime, right? Now, another cool feature of this table is the ivory sights. So obviously ivory, elephant tusks, that's what are in each of these sights. So it's true ivory. It's just an immaculate table. Another feature that I really thought was super cool about this pool table is the slate. So back in the day, they used to make slate out of Pennsylvania. They would mine it, and you can see the veins in here. So you can see all the different colors in this slate. Traditionally, slate nowadays that are factory made, Italy, Brazil, China, that's all going to be that light gray color. Brazil's kind of like a dark gray. It's different mines have different colors. I've never seen this red, gray, like teal veins in this. This is just one of a kind. Another really cool thing about this table, and I can't wait to add our name to the list, is this says 1942. So an installer back in 1942, that was the year my father was born, somebody was working on this table. I thought that was super cool. And you can just see people have etched their names in over the history. There's a 1986, I think, over here, 2021. We'll eventually put our name on here somewhere. But it's such a super cool piece of history that even Brunswick was like astonished to see that it was in such great condition. Now this table has 4 pieces of slate, thank God, because usually back in the day, they were 3 pieces and they were just giant pieces of slate, extremely heavy. There are some things that we're going to upfit the table with, kind of like new slate screws, because I can tell these have been replaced before, and they're old flathead screws, so we're going to replace those. The other cool thing that I really loved about this table is the brass caps. So one cool thing about old antique tables is you see that they have 2 bolts in the end rail. That's a good sign that it is an old antique table, where now pool tables have 3. Right, but these have your old, you got the brass caps, but they've got the old bolt patterns. The installers would know all about that. And then you can just see the marquetry and just the woodwork into this thing is just immaculate. It's been kept in great shape. Obviously, it's been refinished over the years, but not a lot of work has been put into this. Obviously, they've got new leather pockets, but the frames are still original, it looks like. Super cool and just a beautiful piece of work. So we really wanted to showcase this table. We've got this table under consignment for one of our customers, or clients, I should say. And if you want to learn more about this pool table, we're going to be coming out with a lot more information on it here in the coming weeks. You can kind of learn and read all about everything that we found about this pool table and all the history that's in this table. It's super cool. I just want you to think about something too, is the steel in those feet. That's pre-Carnegie steel. So in the 1860s, you got to think this is before the steel giant of the world. They had cast iron steel back then. It's super cool. So just a history piece in itself. And if you'd like to learn more about the pool table, or you're interested in buying the pool table, reach out to us at ledfordbilliardsupply.com. You can send us an email or send me one directly at cameron@ledfordbilliardsupply.com. And then if you know anything about this table, or you've got anybody who's worked on this table in the past, drop a comment down below. We'd love to talk to them.